But to see the transformations of these women, not just them transforming, but hearing that their relationships with their spouses, with their children, are transformed because these women are becoming empowered and stronger. I mean, we're talking about patterns that they could not break in decades. They were resolving within a few weeks of the group because you have the amplification of other women there. So you have to be accountable and honest with everyone. And with women, you don't have, who were just strangers a while back, they don't have an agenda for you. It's not like they're your family or they're your friends. So they really can just tell you what they're feeling, and you can receive it so much more powerfully than you could from someone who knows you already. And I just got such wonderful feedback from them that I kept going. And every group that has been posted at the Muse has filled to capacity before registration.
Yes, it has.
Yes. And so now I'm offering not one group, I'm offering 4 groups this winter because of the interest. And Lana, I would love to share how you ended up being my last participant under the wire in the group that we just ended, and I would love to hear how you got there and how you decided, you know what, this Let's Be Honest thing sounds cool for me too. I want our listeners to hear your story now.
Well, it's kind of interesting because my husband retired from the military. We moved here to Virginia, and I was actually just looking I just needed a space to start writing. I do like to write. And when I fell into the Muse, but then I saw the Let's Be Honest, and I'm like, what the hell is this about? And when I saw your description about coming together, just really being honest about who you are, and that was really appealing because, again, I agree with you. I feel like we put on this face to the world and even to social media. We have the right angle. We wear the right clothes. Our house is picked up maybe in the certain spot where the picture is taken. Do you know
right.
what I'm saying? So it's this whole, just this whole way of being or letting the world see us, very controlling. And I just wanted to let that go. And I had gone through some transitions myself. I'm very intuitive, very empathic, and I just wasn't comfortable letting people know that side of me. Of course, I had done the size human thing, body positive, all that stuff. Be comfortable in your body. It doesn't matter what size you are. Movement is a gift you give your body. So I did all that, and you saw pictures of me where, other people may be very uncomfortable showing pictures of themselves if they gained weight or whatever. I was okay with that, but the whole empathic, intuitive side, no. And I have a good friend, Mindy, who's a psychic, who said to me, you're intuitive, you're a healer, you need to tell people. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not telling anybody, Mindy. So I thought when I saw your class, I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to go say who I am.
And then leave.
And
right?
never come back. I never have to go back. I could go to this group of strangers and be like, look, MFers, I am a self-love, intuitive healer, and I'm out. And I never have to go back. I never have to go back and face these women, right? So,
I was so shocked when you shared that with the group. Yeah.
I did it. Everybody else was kind of shocked also. I'm like, wasn't it obvious? I came in, I spilled out all of my secrets. Nobody screamed or ran away, which I was surprised about.
Yeah.
And, it was just a very empowering experience for me.
That is awesome. So, just so the listeners understand, Lana had only planned to just really come to the first session because she thought she would just be so uncomfortable and unaccepted once she let this cat out of the bag. And every time she came back, correct me if I'm telling this wrong, Lana, every time you had come back since, you thought, well, this one will probably be my last one.
Yep, I did. No, I totally did. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance. And you gave us homework. You gave us homework during the week. And I would do the homework, and I'm like, I'll show up, I'll tell you the homework, I'll essentially vomit my shit, and I will never come back. That was the plan each week. And how many weeks was it, Danielle?
It was 8 weeks.
Yes. Yeah, and all I have to say is, wow. And, I mean, Mindy had told me, and also my healer, because, yes, I have a healer if we're going to be honest, said to
Amen.
had said to me that they felt like I had made so much healing or progress because of this class. And it was the first time I had ever told anybody who I really was. You know, besides like the outside, the hi, I'm Lana, but like, you know, my gifts.
Yeah.
So it was it's a very empowering class, and you even have a Let's Be Honest too, is that correct? Yeah,
it's for, let's be honest, members who've taken the first round and who want to come back for more. So, you know, I want to be able to create a space for people who want to continue their journey and who've, you know, been through it a little bit and now they're ready for more advanced stuff.
Yeah, because, I mean, we just don't show up and tell secrets or whatever. You actually, it looks like you have a curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want people to feel like overwhelmed with it. So the things that I ask them to do, for example, like a vision board or a timeline, it's not homework. It's not homework for the teacher. It's homework for the student. So it's so important, you know, to be able to be disciplined enough to work on yourself. If, you know, that's so, sometimes you have to be given that by a teacher because oftentimes we do for everybody else, but we're not going to make the time we need to self-reflect and work things through and gain perspectives and actually see where we're going when we're too busy going for everybody else.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know that I would personally not make the time to make a vision board if I wasn't told to and had to show up and bring it.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally, the timeline, when you asked us to do a timeline, I would never have done that if you hadn't said next time. And you know what the fascinating thing is when you saw other people's timelines and you see other people's stories.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of feels. Like, we had one member who hers was quite long and she was going to give us the shortened version. And we all asked her to stop and give us the longer version because her story was so fascinating. And I guess it makes you realize as you go through your Let's Be Honest class that we're all human and, you know, that we're all connected.
Yes. And I think that's a perfect example that you can't, what we gave her in terms of a gift of this member who, first of all, she never wanted to even share her timeline. And she completely dismissed it for weeks until we let her go last, so everyone had to go before her. And then she just wanted to get it over with. But I think when she saw just how interested all of us were, and that we were hanging on to her every word, I think you can't get that in a therapy session.
No.
I mean, I think it forced her to look at her life and herself in a completely new way because we were all so fascinated with what she had been through and who she was.
Yes.
And that is the power of a group.
I agree because it's different when it's one person and then honestly a group of women. And you know, we all had very different backgrounds in that group.
Yeah. Yes. Totally.
A range of ages as well.
I mean, we had senior to millennial and everything in between.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So is that typical of your classes that come in there?
Yes, I'm so happy to say it is. And it's so helpful because, you know, my group before yours, you know, we had this girl who just broke up with her fiance and she was in her early 20s. And then we had two women, you know, in their 50s and 60s saying, honey, this is not the end of your world. And just the different generations of perspective. Again, it's the power of the group. And you're compelled to listen to your fellow group members because they, like I said, they don't have an agenda. They're speaking from their heart.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
And you know what, too, Danielle, and maybe this was unintentional or intentional on your part, but what I miss is I miss the wisdom. Because we are a military family, we moved around a lot. I missed having like a grandmother figure to talk about those kinds of things. You do know what I'm saying? Or even having access to my mom, you know, when my kiddos were born, we were across an ocean and asking about different things that I was going through. Like, I miss that, but I felt like with the range of ages in your group, it was nice to have that perspective.
That's beautiful. And I think, yes, that is another added benefit that I wasn't even aware of until you said it so beautifully. It is so true. But the other thing, too, with that, sometimes we don't have a great relationship with our mother or our grandparents, if they're even alive, for many of us. And so you can have a maternal figure there that can give you that comfort because of the age, and you can still receive from that. And it's, you know, we can get wisdom and guidance from people who are not necessarily our family, and it still can be genuine and authentic and through love.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't tell you how much I crave that sometimes after moving all over. So that was also a really nice thing with that group as well. It was really neat to see the different perspective from some people in their 20s about how they viewed the world or a situation, and then people in their 40s and 50s how they viewed a situation.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and that people felt, because the class is called Let's Be Honest, they would hesitate to share, but then they say, okay, well, if I'm being honest, because that's what they're supposed to do, then they share it.
Yes.
You know? You don't need to hesitate, you know?
That was funny because there would be a time where we'd fall into those roles of maybe not.
I don't know if I should say this.
Yeah, that kind of, and you know, I was already going like hair on fire, like I don't plan on coming back.
Right.
So I think that it was, you know, I felt it a little more like, I'll just tell you exactly what I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not coming back, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right. But
you could leave at any session, so it's fine.
That's true.
But the opposite happened, Lana. You were, your energy just made the group, hands down. And, you know, it was just wonderful to have you there. You know, you were alive and vivid and expressive and just, but you come from your heart. And it's so easy. You were so likable. And I'm so glad that you could see that in a group you thought would never even accept you, how likable you were. So
yeah, that was funny because who said that? One of the younger ones was like, "You're just so likable." I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'm lucky I'm still here.
You have no idea. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think it's pretty amazing how you start, on one thing, why this concept is even needed, you know, and then two, that it has exploded over here in the way that it has. Because don't you have something with the JCC coming up as well? Yes.
So I'm offering my groups now in Virginia Beach at the JCC, which is right off of Witch Dock. Not many people even know it's there, and you do not have to be a member to come. It's going to be at this beautiful facility that also has an amazing indoor and outdoor gym and cafe. And, I mean, I know people in Virginia Beach are used to driving, so it's not that a big a deal for them. But in Ghent, we are not used to driving. So, so it's just nice to have two different options for people. And so the JCC group is starting February 3rd. It's Wednesdays from 9:30 to 11:30. And then there's groups starting mid-February at the Muse with locations on Monday mornings and Thursday nights for people who work, and then the continuing Let's Be Honest groups are going to be meeting Sunday afternoons again.
And they can still sign up for that, correct?
Yeah, all groups are still open. There are still spots left in the groups. as of now. And